Hello friends, this is lesson 1 of NLP Natural Language Processing. In today's lesson we are going to cover the following topics. So first we have to know what is NLP, then the difference between natural language and formal language, natural language ambiguities, Python and linguistic data, and then since we are using Python we have to know how to install the Python and also how to install Jupyter notebook application for graphical interface. So let's start with the first topic, but before that, for further reading friends, you can refer the following books. The first book is Natural Language Processing with Python. The second book that you can refer is Applied Text Analysis with Python, and the third book is Speech and Language Processing. Now let's start with the first topic and understand what is NLP. So NLP stands for Natural Language Processing. So here first we will talk about the first two letters, means natural language, and then the third letter called processing. So what is natural language? So natural language is the language used by humans in order to communicate with each other daily. So this is called natural language. The language which we are speaking, like now I am speaking English, so this is called natural language. So English is an example, Hindi is an example, and Pashto is an example. So these are called natural languages which are used by humans for communicating with each other. So these languages compared to artificial languages, or we can say mathematical notations, these languages accept the changes, especially while passing from one generation to another generation. But artificial languages and also mathematical notations, they are so much strict, they are following the rules and they are not accepting the changes easily. Now let's see here the third letter called P and processing. It stands for processing. So what is this processing? Processing means manipulation of the natural language. Computer based is called processing, like reading the natural language, the data, processing that, analyzing that, and visualizing the data. So this is called computer based natural language manipulation, and that is called processing. Another example here is counting words frequency in order to compare different writing styles. So it means we are using computer, based on computer we will be counting the words frequencies for comparing the different writing styles. Understanding human languages, interpreting and providing a useful response. So these are all nothing but processing on natural language. So we did understand that natural language processing is nothing but processing the natural language based on computer. Manipulation, reading, writing, and also understanding, interpreting, analyzing, visualizing. So all these things are nothing but processing. Now let's see, we have some examples here for NLP. Mobile phones and handheld computers support predictive text and handwriting recognitions. You have seen nowadays smartphones are there, they are used and they can be used for translating one language to another language. Just by opening the camera and showing the text, it can automatically convert it to the language which you want. And also another example is here, like we have Google Translate. For example, if you're typing something in one language, you will be getting the translation of that in another language. So this is all nothing but because of NLP, natural language processing. In the background, that translation will happen and you will be getting the result, right? And here another example, search engines are there, like Google we have. In Google, whenever you are typing, automatically you will be getting some text, and along that if you are writing in some other language, still you will be getting some related data. For example, if you are using Pashto and typing a sentence or a query there, so it will give you the references, many references which are not written in Pashto, but still it relates to your query, and that is because of the background translation there that will be translating your query, and based on that you will be receiving the data. So this is all nothing but because of NLP, natural language processing. The second topic is here, okay, natural language versus formal language, or we can say artificial languages. As I discussed before, here I have listed 4 differences. The first difference is flexible. Natural languages are flexible and they are accepting the changes, especially while passing from one generation to another. You have seen many, like English also has changed a lot. The old English and the new English, if you are comparing, so many things are changed. Still we are like someone, maybe they are not obeying the rules, the grammar, the things, still you can understand the language. But if you are talking about the formal languages or artificial languages, they are so much strict and they have strict rules. If you are obeying the rules, then you can communicate, otherwise you cannot communicate, you will be getting the errors. For example, if you are using any programming language like C, C++, Java, so if you are following the rules and based on the rules and regulations what they have there, you will be able to write the program. Otherwise, you cannot write the program. Another one here, natural languages or general purpose languages. Like for example, we are using English for speaking, for anything we want to communicate, it will be used like. But here, these formal languages are specific application languages. Like for example, if you consider the language of chemistry, so chemistry has a unique language. For example, if there we are writing H2O, so that stands for something, and that is nothing but the water, right? So it has some specific like this applications. But this natural language can be used for different purposes. And this is a free format. It means here we have structured data, unstructured data, we have semi-structured data. Any type of data can be there, any type of format. But here it is precise format, a unique format is followed. And another one is the last one. Here it says natural languages or high ambiguity languages. And here we have no ambiguity, right? So these are the differences between natural language and formal languages. Now let's see here, natural language ambiguities. We say natural languages are high ambiguities. Now what is this ambiguity? Ambiguity means inexactness or making several interpretations from a single word, sentence, phrase, etc. For example, someone is telling something but you are understanding something different. So this is called ambiguous or ambiguity we can say, right? The different types of ambiguities are there in natural language. So the first type of ambiguity what we have here, it is called lexical ambiguity. So what do you mean by this lexical ambiguity? Ambiguity in the words. For example, here I have put here cook. So if this cook is used without context, you cannot understand what does it mean. Whether it is the act for cooking something or no, it is the adjective we can say for a noun or a pronoun. Like we say cook, maybe the person, if we say he is a cook, so it means that is the adjective. But if it is used like he is cooking or she is cooking or they cook, so in that time that can be used as a verb. Then out of context you will be getting some you will be misunderstanding that. So that misunderstanding is called ambiguity. Another type of ambiguity is called syntactic ambiguity. So what is this? Ambiguity in sentences. Example, here I have written, she saw him with a telescope. So from this example you will be confusing, like she saw him with a telescope. What does it mean? It means she was using the telescope and through the telescope he saw him, or no, she saw him, he was carrying the telescope. So it has different meaning, like maybe you will be getting another meaning from this sentence, another person will be getting another meaning. So this misunderstanding, so that is called ambiguity, what we have here, inexactness or making several interpretation. And another one here, we have another ambiguity which we have in natural language, is called semantic ambiguity. So what is this semantic ambiguity? Ambiguity in word, sentences, etc. Meanings, like here I have hot and we have bats. So see friends, here if this bat has different meaning. If this is with the context of a game called cricket, so you will be getting another meaning for this. If this is used for some species, so in species, then you will be getting another meaning from this, right? So bat, it is a kind of animal, and if it is used with game like cricket, so it has another meaning. So this hot, for example, if this hot is used with water, so you will be getting like hot water, okay, that has another meaning. If I say hot girl, so that has another meaning there. So this ambiguity is called semantic ambiguity, right? And that is nothing but in the meanings, the ambiguity in the meanings. Now here we have another ambiguity in natural language, which is called anaphoric ambiguity. So what is this anaphoric ambiguity? Ambiguity in word phrases previously mentioned, but there is more than one possibilities. For example, the horse ran up the hill, and then here it was very steep, and here again it is used it soon got tired. Now here the pronoun it is used once, and again it is used here twice, maybe 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and then sometimes you will be getting confused that what do you mean by this 8, whether this 8 stands for the horse or it is standing for something else, because here the horse is mentioned once, then instead of horse the pronoun is used 8 once, twice, 3 times, like that. If it is used repeatedly, so that will be confusing us, and that is called ambiguity. You will be getting another meaning from this, because you may say that this 8 means something else, not the horse, but the first person will think no, this 8 stands for the horse. If it is repeated so many times, if it is repeated 2-3 times, you can catch it, but if it is repeated multiple times, so it will be some tricky, or it may be like confusing. Another ambiguity what we have in natural language is called pragmatic ambiguity. So what is this pragmatic ambiguity? Means here ambiguity in the context. While you are reading the sentence or the text, from the text still you will be confused. Like for example, here it is written you are late. So here from this you are late, the person will get different interpretation or different meaning, whether you are criticizing the person, like you are telling him you are late, you are criticizing, or no, you are just using this for reminding. So for example, you are late, the party is already over, so in that case it is used like just for reminding. But if you are telling like you are late, it may be also used for criticizing. So this type of ambiguity is called pragmatic ambiguity. So these are all nothing but the ambiguities what we have in natural language. And also we see here the difference, high ambiguity. We have high ambiguities in natural language compared to the formal languages. I hope you understood all these ambiguities, friends. Now let's see here Python linguistic data. So we have to know what is Python and how it can be used with linguistic data. So Python is a simple yet powerful programming language with excellent functionality for processing linguistic data. That is why we will be using Python for processing our data or linguistic data. It is a powerful and simple programming language. Another characteristic of Python is here object oriented. Means everything is considered as an object, and for that object we can define the properties. We can define the features. Here we have each and every entity can be considered as an object, and for that we can define the attributes and methods. Another here, Python is highly readable and it is easy language and it is simple language. That is why nowadays people are using this Python for processing the data, especially in natural language processing. A person, for example, with another background, not computer science, maybe from economics or maybe from other backgrounds like mathematics, still they can use Python for processing their data, and that is because it is readable and it is easy compared to other programming languages like Java, like C, C++. Those programming languages are so much strict and difficult, but this one is readable, easy and simple. So Python has good string handling functionalities. Since we are dealing with text data, so here Python provides us many functions for manipulating the text. And the last point here is Python is heavily used in industry nowadays, as I mentioned before. Students or people from other backgrounds, they can still use the Python programming language for analysis their data. Scientific researches, education around the world, nowadays they are using Python. So that is why we are using Python here. Through this tutorial, we will be using Python programming language for analysis or processing the natural language. So now, since we are using Python, we have to understand how to install it. How to install it. So for installing Python, it is very simple, friends. Just you open the terminal. Here you can go and click it like open on terminal we have, or through search you can find the terminal, or just by pressing these keys Ctrl plus Alt plus T, the terminal will be opened, and then you type here sudo get update. We just update the services. Then what we are going to do, we have to use this command sudo update install python 3. The latest Python, it will be selected and installed, and here then we can check the version of that. Let me do this practically just by opening the terminal. So the terminal is here, friends. The first thing is I will be using here sudo apt and then get. I will be using update. So it is asking for the password. I have to provide the password. It is just updating the services. Yeah, so I will clear the screen and then I will type the second command, which is sudo and then again apt get, and I'm using here install, and then I'm using python 3. Friends, I have already installed python 3. If I'm running this command, it will just update the services. Here it is telling me that you have already has the newest version. It is already installed, but for you it will be taking some like a few minutes for installing it. It is very simple. Just you type this command and here you type python 3, right? And then we have to check it whether it is there or not, and for that you just type python 3 and then you can type here v. It is showing me I have this version of Python. It is installed, right? And now if you want to go to Python environment, and for that you just type here python 3 and press enter. It will be you're now here in this environment. You can type like print simple statement. I will type here hello right? Yeah, it is working. Now if you want to exit from this environment, from the shell, so what you have to do, you just press Ctrl Z. Now again we are in our shell here, Ubuntu shell environment. I will clear the screen. So this is just for installing Python. So Python is installed for you. If you are following the same steps, it is very simple. The next thing what we have to do is here we have to install the Jupyter application notebook. It is just for like creating graphical user interface and working with graphical user interface, which is so much simple compared to command line. So for doing that, we have to install Jupyter notebook. Again, we will be opening the terminal. For me, it is already open here, right? Now again, you will be typing this one. If you have already installed Python, so you just type this one. Since I have already typed, again I am not typing it. Then you have to type this command: sudo apt-get install Python, and here you will be installing this pip here. And through the pip, then you can install the Jupyter notebook. Here sudo pip3 and then install this one, Jupyter notebook. So first we have to install this pip. How to install it? Again, I will be taking the copy of this, friends, for saving time. I will paste it here. Since I have already installed, it is telling me you have already installed this. So one thing else is there, you have to update the pip, this one, to have the latest version of pip. For upgrading that, you just type this one, take the copy, and I will paste it here. What I say, sudo pip3 install upgrade of that. So this one will be taking some few minutes. It is upgrading that, and then through that we can install the, so it is here successfully installed pip. This one is the version 20.2. Now through this pip3 we can install the Jupyter notebook. So again I will take the copy of this and paste it here. See friends, I am using sudo, then I am using here pip3 install Jupyter notebook. Again I will tell you friends, I have already installed this one also, so it is taking less time just upgrading the files, nothing else. For you it will be taking just few minutes, then it will be installed. So it is installed for me also. Jupyter notebook is installed. Now how to open the Jupyter notebook? So for opening that, what we have to do, sudo Jupyter notebook allow, then root you have to use. It is providing a link for us, then open the link, and that link will be open in the browser, and then you can see graphical user interface there. Let me clear the screen. So here I will paste it, right? Yeah, see friends, here it is providing a link for us here, like here localhost, and this is port number, and this one is the token. Sometimes whenever you are using different browsers, so it may be asking for the tokens as a password, then you can take the copy of this one and paste it there. It is opening in that browser also. Just by right clicking here, it is giving you here these two options, open and copy. If you are using different browser, so you take the copy and open the browser and you paste it there, it will be open there. But if you are saying like open the link, it will be choosing the default browser. So the default browser here for me is Firefox. So this is the interface, friend, graphical interface. Instead of using like here as we use command line. So this is command line. It will be somehow boring. Instead of this, what we are going to do, we will be using this graphical interface. So first of all, what I am going to do, I will create a directory. So for doing that, you just come to here, new, and here you have the options. open the terminal, you want to create the folder, or you want to create a text file, or you opening a Python file. So first I will create a folder or directory. Just by clicking that, it is giving me that here, yeah, this is untitled folder. Just click here, and then if you come up here, it is telling you you want to rename it. I say yes, I want to rename it to what? NLP. So press enter. So we have NLP directly here. You just click on that. We are here now. This time I am not creating another folder. I will be creating a Python file. Python 3 we have, and Python 2. Maybe you don't have these two options, you will be having only one of them. So you open this one, Python 3. So this is Python 3, and here you can give the name for your file. I will say first. Just an example, first. So here is the name, and here you can type the program and how to execute it, that I will tell you. Let me first write a simple command, and I say hello again friends, and now how to execute it. For executing this, you have the option here, run. By pressing this, you can run the program. So this is the result what you have. But if you are running it through the shortcut, so instead of pressing that, you will be pressing shift plus enter. I am pressing shift plus enter, and it is giving me the result like this, right? So I hope you understood, friends. It is very simple, and it is very easy here, and it is interesting by using this Jupyter notebook, because it is like friendly user interface. Very simple. You can type your program here, and you can execute it from here, or by using the shortcut. I am closing it. You can save it here. It is automatically saving it in the same directory what we created here. Now see, it is saying this is the directory what we created NLP. Within that we have this file. Just I am closing this, and you can close this. And now what you have to do here, you just press Ctrl Z. It is saying the service is stopped, and again you can type exit. It is closing. So this was the first lesson, friends. I hope you understood all this. We talked about these topics, and we installed Python, we installed Jupyter notebook, and then we talked about Python, how Python is good for linguistic data, and then we understood the different ambiguities, and then the difference between natural language and formal language, and you got understood this one also, NLP, natural language processing. So I hope you understood this much. Thank you, friends.